Hey there! Welcome back to An Introvert's Paradise. I'm Kendrick Kaiju, and today we're talking about some of the things that I want to see in inZoi. I'm sure some of these things will be in inZoi, but until they are, I think the list still makes sense. First things first. The thing that I want in inZoi more than anything else is a fully customizable face. And what I mean by that is we can choose different eyes, nose, mouth, you name it. Because right now we have presets and we just pinch and pull and try to sculpt the face to what we want it to be. But there's limitations to that. I'm not gonna lie, I spent probably about 40 hours or so trying to make myself. Yes, I'm insane, but it's a life simulation. Getting me to look like me is absolutely crucial. Now don't get me wrong, it was a painful, unpleasant process to try to do this without the fully customizable face. There was so much trial and error using different presets, and even when it looked good in character creation mode, when you take it into the game, it didn't look the same. I would be like, that's pretty damn good. That looks an awful lot like me. I go into the game, I'm like, this is a different guy. That looks like me if somebody gave a description of me to the person who was inputting me into the game. On paper, it checks all the boxes, but in reality, who the hell is this fella? Now don't get me wrong, the presets are beautiful, but perhaps that's the issue here. No one's ever accused me of being beautiful, and pinch and pull as you may, there are limitations to that system, and when the nose is wrong, the nose is wrong. In fact, I've ran into that a bunch of times. It's like, oh, I think I can make this look like me, and as I'm doing it, I'm like, I think that's more or less my mouth. I just need to sculpt it a little bit. Let me pinch and pull this, and then boom, the mouth looks like my mouth, and I get super excited as I'm 20 hours into trying to make myself, and then I move on to the nose, and all that excitement goes away. But pinch and pull as I may, this is still a witch's nose, and thank God at least I don't have one of those in reality. So please let us just choose whatever eyes, nose, mouth, etc. that we want. It's pretty commonplace in most games that have a decent character creator, so I'm sure it's possible, and I need it to be not just probable, but to happen. The second thing that I want in inZoi the most, better jobs. Now here's the thing. It's not lost on me that inZoi at the end of the day is a life simulation. And in life, now perhaps you're one of the lucky ones, but I would say at least half of us, if not more than that, aren't crazy about our jobs. Some of us straight up hate our jobs. It's tedious, it's not fun, and I hate going. So to their credit, K-Jun and his dev team absolutely captured that. They totally recreated the feeling of, you know, how the night before you're like, oh god damn it, I have to go to bed early tonight because I have to get up early to go back into hell tomorrow. They've recreated that feeling perfectly. But at the end of the day, this is a video game. We don't need it to be that perfect. We still want to have fun. I won't spend too much time on this because I actually made an entire video about this a while ago. And at the end of the day, I felt like one of the possible solutions was mini-games. Like actually having us do something, play something that's fun. I feel like that's potentially a solution. Like for example, when you're a K-pop trainee and you have to dance like 3 times or whatever, well, instead of just clicking the button and watching it happen, waiting for it to end, just so you can click on the button again and then again, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a Dance Dance Revolution mini game? I'd definitely be down to play that 3 times during a workday. But hey, maybe they don't need to make it 3 times. Maybe just do it once, and then so I'm looking forward to doing it again the next day. But something needs to happen because right now, work is so tedious, it's just not fun. And in a video game, that's problematic. Staying with work, the next thing that I want in inZoi are jobs that utilize the open world and the cars. So what I mean is something like driving a taxi, picking up fares. Because I know in Chahaya, you could technically be a cab driver, but it's a rabbit hole. You're not actually driving around picking up fares. I want to be able to drive around and actually pick up fares. Because I remember when I was a kid, I don't remember which one it was. It may have been Vice City, but I played one of the GTAs, and I remember being able to pick up fares, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I don't know, maybe it's because it was a nice change from all the crime. And even though they added it in GTA Online probably a couple years ago, it was way too late at that point. I mean, most people who played that game were at least millionaires, if not 100 millionaires at that point. Who's driving around taxis and delivering pizzas? Early on, when online first started, oh, I would have killed for those missions. And it would have made sense story-wise. It would have been a nice part of a rags to riches arc. And right now in inZoi, we can still use jobs like this, because I have no idea how to get rich in this game, other than add money. 100,000. They've definitely captured the grind of reality. It's pretty hard to get ahead in reality, and it's pretty hard to get ahead in inZoi. But I'm okay with that, as long as you give me some taxi missions. But it's not just taxis. They could also do pizza deliveries, or any other food that they desire. Or even being a mailman, being a postal driver. And furthermore, they could expand that idea with children and teens, where you can have like a newspaper route. That would be cool. You've got the big open world, you've got the cars, you've got a need for more engaging jobs. I think these jobs would qualify as engaging and would certainly utilize the open world. Being able to do not only more activities together, but the ones that we can already do it for longer. And what I mean by that is, yes, they added chess to the Chahaya update, which was great, but it doesn't last very long. Like, I'm no chess player, but I'm pretty sure a game doesn't last, oh, I don't know, like 4 minutes. I mean, I suppose maybe if you're playing against like the smartest, best players in the world, they could probably do it in a few minutes. But I think the average person, a game of chess might take you, I would say at least 15 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if it took a half hour at a clip. So something like that, they need to lengthen it out. We need more stuff to do at home and more stuff to do together for a longer amount of time, like kicking around a soccer ball. Again, I'm an introvert, I don't do stuff outside, but I feel like the people who do kick around a ball don't kick it around for, again, a couple minutes. They probably do it for 15-20 minutes. Because in-game, even 15-20 minutes, it's only a few seconds. And chess games, it seems like the moment you start, it's over. So I'm not sure if it makes sense or not, but you gotta give me at least 30 seconds with these activities, like real-time 30 seconds, however many minutes that is in-game. Even if that turns out to be like an hour in-game, I'm okay with that. I'm sure there's plenty of people who play soccer and chess for an hour at a clip. I just need a breather, so I'm not always constantly looking for the next thing for them to do. Yeah, we just need more stuff to do together as well. Bare minimum, when my Zoi are having dinner together, they need to communicate a little bit. It's weird that people sit in silence. Especially now with everybody having busy lives, sitting around the dinner table is a good time to kind of catch up, to talk about your day, that type of situation. So they definitely need to add that in, and I suppose, and I guess while we're on the topic of dinner, we also need the choice to be able to make multiple servings all at once. Because right now, whenever I cook a single portion for one person. Who does that? Even when I cook for myself, I don't just make enough for me to eat. That would be like if I was making sausage and pepper penne. What am I gonna do? Open up a pack of sausage and cook one sausage and only use some of the sauce from the bottle? No, I'm just gonna cook off the entire package of sausage and use the entire bottle of sauce. A, I can have a couple helpings, and B, I don't have to think about lunch tomorrow. So in inZoi, when we cook, we need the option to be able to cook for multiple people at once. It's weird that Kyle will make something for Mia and then turn around moments later and make the exact same thing for himself instead of just doing it all in one go like a normal person. And furthermore, after we are done eating, we need to be able to collect all the dishes and wash them all at once. Again, it's weird. Who collects one dish at a time and washes one dish at a time? You collect them all, you stick them all in the dishwasher, or you do it all by hand, whatever. I feel like, and maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like we were able to do that when the game first dropped. That during a patch or update or something, they removed that feature. Am I crazy? Don't answer that. Sticking with food, we need way more recipes, things to cook at home. Because I find my Zoi eating the same things over and over again, and it's pretty boring. The food all looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. Now, we just need more of it. And not just at home, but even out in the restaurants. Because right now, outside of desserts, all the menus, it just features things that we can already make at home. Exactly identical things that we can already make at home. So it's just not exciting to leave the house, go to a restaurant, and get the exact same thing I could have made without the trip. So I'd like to see a ton of recipes and dishes added into the game, and some of them being strictly exclusive to the restaurants. And each restaurant should be unique from one another. You can only get these dishes at this restaurant. They're all themed now, and the menu should reflect it. Like for example, the Dawan Deli. It's a deli, so what do you think of when you think of deli? Sandwiches, probably, right? When you show up to the Dawan Deli, there's not even a single slice of bread that can be seen anywhere. Pets. I need pets. It's nice that they've added kitties that you can play with and pet. I'm not sure why the dog seems always hostile. They're man's best friend. But either way, I'm not really interested in a neighborhood cat or a neighborhood dog, because I feel bad whenever it rains out. They're still out there, because there's one by my house, my inZoi house, and he's just out there in the rain and there's nothing I can do about it. We need house pets. We need dogs that we can wake up to and play with all day long. And it shouldn't just be cats and dogs. Because something that I loved about Sims 3 was we could own horses too. Now I think something like that is ripe for its own expansion. Like a countryside expansion, a countryside town, where you can have equestrian and different horse competitions. Because at the end of the day, you don't really want to do the same things that the Sims franchise has done. Now, it makes sense to learn from them, and it's okay to repeat some of the stuff, but ideally, you innovate and you go beyond that. So, one thing that I would love is, do you remember during the initial trailer, at one point, they showed wild animals, they showed pandas at one point. I think those were meant to be the wildlife in the city. It makes no sense, but I'm okay with that. Let's double down on that. It doesn't make sense to have wild pandas just running around in the city, but I'm okay with that, so long as I'm allowed to have some wild pandas in my backyard. Let us domesticate those animals. Let me have a panda. Let me have a raccoon. Whatever else was in that trailer, let us have them in our households with us. It's not realistic, but I'm okay with that. But on the flip side of that, there is something that isn't realistic, and I'd like them to get rid of it. And that is taking showers with a towel on. Who does that? And I think I know why the devs went down this road. I think it's because South Korea is still kind of a conservative, traditional place. So they were going for modesty here. And even though I appreciate that, I respect that on one hand, at the same time, I'm a huge K-pop fan. I know for a fact modesty is not the name of the game. Just going off of K-pop album sales, there's at least a few 100,000 people over there who, bare minimum, don't mind having a bunch of beautiful young women running around on stage in skimpy outfits. Somebody needs to message K-Jun and tell him to not look up twice at the Victoria's Secret show the other night. Now, I'm not saying get rid of the blur, keep the blur, just get rid of the towel. I'm pretty sure nobody showers like that. It's weird that our Zois do. And I suppose on the same train of thought, when we use the washroom, I can confidently say none of us do it with our pants on. It's one of my pet peeves because every single time my Zois use the bathroom and they've got their pants on, I'm like, oh boy, they just went in their pants. They've soiled themselves. I appreciate the effort, I appreciate the attempt at modesty, but it's not necessary. Now, we could definitely keep how the Zois hook up. You know, the big heart that covers up most of the screen. They just lie in the bed, they don't do anything, it's implied. That's fine. But even then, afterwards, they shouldn't be fully clothed. I'm good with if they're just in their undergarments. I'd also really like to see an open for business type of expansion pack. To me, Sims 2 Open for Business is the finest expansion pack of them all. It just offered so much creativity, gameplay, fun, and just great times all around. And even though Sims 4 had the Dine Out game pack, which was pretty good, and I think it came with a retail system, something came with a retail system, so there was definitely a level of open for business to it, but I just felt like there was more to open for business in Sims 2. Then they have a makeover function, because I remember I had a hair salon and a bakery. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I do have a real soft spot for the Sims 2 Open for Business. But something like it would not only be greatly appreciated, but I think crucial for inZoi's long-term success. And speaking of the dining out pack, being able to run a restaurant, that's really great. And again, you don't want to just do what the Sims have already done, but it doesn't hurt to take what worked for them, what was great, and incorporate it in your game, and once again, flesh it out, expand. Because for example, running a restaurant, I think that's fun in a game. In real life, that's definitely stress I don't need in my life. The one thing I wanted to do in that dining out pack was be the head chef, because I love playing games like Overcooked, Diner Bros, those types of games. It really annoyed me in The Sims 4 where you could only manage the restaurant. You couldn't actually really work one of the roles, and I feel like that was a huge missed opportunity that inZoi's version of Open for Business could definitely capitalize on. You should be able to manage the restaurant if you want, but you should also be able to be a server if you want, and more importantly, be the chef. And it should be involved. It shouldn't just be... Now, I'm not saying involved as in like in Overcooked and Diner Bros where you're chopping stuff, you're cooking stuff. It doesn't need to be like that. But it does need to be, you get the order from the front, and let's say the order is steamed fish. Well then at that point we should click on the stove and there should be a bunch of options and we have to find steamed fish. And if we're not paying attention and we just send anything out, well then it should hurt our restaurant score. Something like that, something simple. Have a little bit of involvement by us. I'm good with that. And again, it shouldn't just be the stuff that the Sims have already done. I'm okay with that, as long as you do it better. But ideally, they have a bunch of new businesses, and better yet, create something flexible to let us be creative. Something like that basic retail, that framework where we can just kind of put any business in. Certainly that, but something along those lines, but better. What exactly? Well, this might be above my pay grade. I can't come up with anything. But you know what I mean. A better apocalypse the world. Have you ever used that cheat? If you haven't, to be fair, you're not really missing out. Because right now all it is the streets are dirty, the cars are dirty. Well, that's kind of it. Outside of that, it's business as usual. That's just kind of like Chinatown here in Toronto. I'd hardly call it an apocalypse. So I really do hope in the future that they flesh it out. That this was the first shot at it. That they don't just abandon this idea, because it's a really good idea. It's very shallow right now. What they need to do, especially since Chihaya, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, Chihaya was a real game changer. The fact that now we have farming and fishing, you now have a system in place that you can flesh out and incorporate in an actual apocalyptic world where you're living off the land, you're living off the sea, and they've got to turn the power off, right? They've got to get rid of the cars. They need to add in wind power, solar power, that type of stuff. It doesn't need to be zombies, there doesn't need to be guns, but I'm not against any of that. And finally, now it's taken me longer to get around to this video than I would have liked, because since I planned on doing this video, it's been confirmed we're definitely getting some kind of Halloween update, some kind of Halloween event. Oh, and while I'm at it, it looks like the originally planned October update is still happening. So I know a few videos ago I said it seems like that's not the case, but I was wrong. We're still on track for an October and December update, so that's exciting news. And even though I'm not a Halloween guy in reality, I do like me some supernatural content, well, in video games in general, but certainly in my life sims. Because I said I think the best, certainly my favorite expansion pack of all time is The Sims 2 Open for Business, but I believe it was The Sims 3 Supernatural that is a close second. The ghost hunting was really cool. Sure, it was a little, Ghostbuster, cartoony. So I would like something, a bit more grown up than that. Maybe like Supernatural the show. Or something that draws from Eastern culture. I mean, now we're cooking with gas, right? Now you're not just copying The Sims. You're taking the same idea, but making it different, if not cooler. And I'm pretty sure it's the Supernatural expansion. That's the one when night falls, like you get a cool, different looking moon, right? That was the same one. It was certainly in Sims 3. That's actually the feature that I loved most. At night, zombies just pop out of the ground and you have those, like pea shooters or whatever. Plants vs. Zombies, I think that's the game they took it from. A little crossover, a little EA crossover. But I just loved it. That wasn't, that wasn't my favorite thing. I mean, again, I like the idea, but it was like a little cartoony and campy. But I like the idea that you had defense against the zombies. But I loved it that there was something to fear when the sun came down. There's something really different and special to it. And that's what I want in inZoi. This Halloween event, I hope they incorporate something like that. And don't just make it an event. Put it in because the timing's right, but then just leave it. I don't need werewolves, but I'm down for vampires. I don't think we're gonna get vampires. I think this is, because they've been teasing it for a while, I think this is the update where they're gonna add ghosts in it. I'll settle for that. And even though it's highly unlikely they're gonna do it for this update, maybe next year's update, they do something like what I was talking about. When it's nighttime, when night falls, go home. The only people who are out there should be the paranormal hunters, the Eastern paranormal hunters. That would be great. And I actually saw this a few weeks ago in Helldivers 2. This ambiance, this sky. I hope I didn't delete it. I hope you're watching a clip right now. But that's what I want. When the sun goes down, I want the sky to look like that. And of course, if they're gonna keep it in past Halloween, it should be optional. That should not be the default sky. It will be the default sky in my game. Oh, I'm definitely gonna have files where it's just supernatural all day long. Not all of them. Kyle and Mia, they're just gonna live their farming life. They're just gonna live their K-pop life in a different file. But I definitely love for a supernatural playthrough all year round. Not just in one file, it's probably gonna be a bunch. Alright, that's a long video. Or at least I talked for a long time. I'm probably gonna have to pare it down a bit. I just love this game, and when I think of the possibilities, I just get a little bit excited. And these are just the big ones. I don't want to nitpick too much. I'll probably make a part 2 eventually, not anytime soon. I think these are the major ones. I have to, and I hope I didn't come across as these guys aren't doing a great job, because they are. I understand we are in early access. And I know what that means. I know that if they didn't opt for early access, I'd be sitting here twiddling my thumb, realistically pulling my hair out, waiting for 2026 for them to release the game. I'm grateful we got early access. I'm just impatient. Alright, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the kind comments, all the likes. I have a great community here. We'll talk soon, okay? But until then, I'm Kendrick Kaiju, and you've been watching An Introvert's Paradise, talking about some of the things that I want to see in inZoi. You take care of yourself. I'll talk to you on the next one. But until then, just make it through another day.